Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. When we're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reason why you're much too sweet, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose, 1, 2, 3. All right, today we're going to play with time, and we're going to play with time dealing with strategies in comping on the guitar as a solo vocalist, no backup band. And I'm going to assume some level of playing already. We're not going to talk about chord voicings today. We're not going to talk about the harmony that I've chosen for this song. This is my version. It's a little twisted. It's okay. The song's a little twisted. Secondly, we're going to deal a lot in the basic 4/4 swing. We're going to do a lot with that. But actually, the goal is to move beyond that. I've got students who have now, they're pretty good at their 4/4 swing. And they want to know how can they vary up the rhythm hand in the course of accompanying themselves in a swing tune. And so before launching into what we can do with the rhythm hand, I kind of want to deal with straight 4/4 swing and play a little bit with time and what we can do with the vocal. Free ourselves up vocally. That's a challenge. And so that's why we'll keep the rhythm hand as straight as possible. And we'll deal with some expanded phrasing, some front phrasing, and some back phrasing. Let's get to that first. So first off, I love to say first off. I'll probably say first off a few more times in this little video. Okay, so first off, I'm going to sing the melody as straight as I possibly can. Fats Waller certainly did not sing this melody straight. He's all over the map, and he is just groovy. But I'm going to sing the version that I've found, which I never sing it this way, but you should know how it's written. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. Okay, so that's the real straight version. What if I do, you can hear Sarah Vaughan do this. A lot of people will do this. Number one, this is sort of a blues tune, kind of, when it's with its own little surprises and twists and turns. And this means you can often find a single note that you can sing, and then you can really mess and create tension and mess with the phrasing. And so I'm going to expand the phrasing into what would be quarter note triplets over this. So it's kind of like back phrasing. You're going to wind up a little behind everything in the end, and then you're going to catch up. I never know how it's going to go. I'll start out this way, though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honey, honey. All right, that was a little Anita O'Day I'm stealing from in the end there. She, in her version, just sings honey, and the listener fills in suckle rose. That's another really great trick vocally. Okay, let's try to leave holes and sing late, so it's a different kind of back phrasing. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows, honey, suckle rose. All right, so that point, I back phrased the whole thing, and then I did an anticipation and sang the last couple of beats early. Front phrasing, I tend to do in short snippets. I don't really think about it consciously. Let's see if I can consciously try to front phrase. It'll take me a while to get into it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows, honey, suckle rose. All right, so I front phrased a little bit. So all of that pretty much involves straight, straight, straight. My first instinct, if I'm going to vary the rhythm of my comping and leave my 4/4 behind, is to take that last chord in the turnaround, that A flat diminished that I'm playing in this key. And I like to anticipate it and do a stop time where the rhythm stops, but the chord does not stop. It rings through. All right, let's try that. Everything is straight except that. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows, honey, suckle rose, when we're passing by. Okay, and then I could, in that hold, anticipate and front phrase the next verse before I land on beat 1 with my G minor 7 again. So that's another way where you can have this interplay between your rhythm in the guitar and your rhythm in your voice. All right, let's look at some exercises we can do on the instrument and some very particular little rhythmic motifs that we can practice until they become internalized. So I'm going to take my metronome now, and I've got it at 120 right now. 1, 1. Let's do dotted quarter on 1, boom, and the chord that would happen on beat 3, we're going to hit it on the end of 2 and let it ring through 3 and 4. I wouldn't want to do the whole song like that, but being able to put those in anywhere, in any chord shift, when you are moved to, that is why we practice with our click. Let's do that same rhythm, only this time instead of letting the second chord ring through beats 3 and 4, I'm going to dampen that second chord so there's 2 beats of silence. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's add a vocal on top of that. 2, 3. Every honeybee filled with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. And I was playing with the time on the vocal at the same time. Can you do that? Now, I wouldn't want to do that groove through the whole song. That would just drive me insane. A couple of other good punches to practice, though, in this same way, I'm going to keep the metronome going for a second, is do that paired eighth notes on 1, and, I guess paired eighth notes on 3. Let's keep it real straight. 1, 2, 3. Now, obviously, you're not going to want to do that, but you are going to want to be able to do that punch whenever you want it. 3, 4. Every honeybee fills with jealousy. You know, something like that. A variation on that I sometimes will do, rather than slamming the back of my fingernails down across the strings, something a little more gentle, involves the pads of my fingers. I keep my nails real short. I just can't stand the sound of my fingernails clicking on the strings. I like it a mellower tone. But that same thing with the paired eighth notes, which I do use in this piece a lot. Now, I started that one backwards. I made 3 be 1. You can do that with the click anyway. You can. It's just sort of keeping track of where you are. So those are paired eighth notes, swung. Oh, let's just do ands. And of 1, and of 3. Have we done that yet? I don't think we have. Let's try this. 1 and. Here we go. I use that one a lot in the bridge. Don't buy sugar. You just have to touch my cup. I like to do that in the bridge. So, and again, I'm using the pads of my fingers. All right, let's turn this guy off. So those are, let's review the rhythmic motifs that I've isolated that you can practice and drill if you want to. Well, number 1, really be able to play 4/4 swing. How do you make 4 quarter notes swing? I don't know how other people do it. For me, I know that beneath those 4 quarter notes that I'm playing, the swing eighth note feel is in my body. Go. It's in there. If it's in there, it's going to come out. So that's how I deal with it. So that's the 4 quarter note swing. We did the dotted quarter, followed by, on the end of 2, the eighth tied across as a half note. We did the same rhythm, but not allowing the second chord to ring. We did paired eighth notes. We did paired eighth notes with fingers, which is a little mellower. And we did hitting on the and of 1 and the and of 3. There are also times where you may just want to anticipate 1 and hit the chord that's happening on beat 1, hit it on the end of 4. We haven't touched on that. But those things may or may not happen through the whole thing. So now, let me just go through this song the way I play it. And hopefully, most of these elements that we've talked about will appear in the song. Let's see. Have no use for other sweets of any kind since my baby came around. From the start I instantly made up my mind. Sweeter sweetness can't be found. You're so sweet, can't be beat. Nothing sweeter ever stood on feet. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out, Winnie. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. When we're passing by, flowers do beside, and you and I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. Well, I don't buy sugar. You just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. Sweeter when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips. It seems the honey fella drips on your confection. Goodness knows you're much too sweet. Goodness knows your confection. Goodness knows you're my honey. suckle rose. So that's sort of how I do the tune when I get to play it out. On Patreon, I offer lesson videos like these or demonstration videos on these. If there's anything you're looking to see, again, like this was an answer to a request for how somebody already playing swing, as they accompany themselves, how they can vary up their right hand to make it more interesting, especially as a solo performer. And so these are just some strategies that I play around with a lot. So if you've got any requests of songs you'd like me to demonstrate or of techniques, keeping in mind that I'm a bit of an autodidact and I've just kind of worked this stuff out on my own. But I've learned most of what I've learned from listening. So that would be my last word to you, which would be go out as vocalists. Go out and get the albums or stream it or whatever. Go find Fats Waller's version. He is the source, number one of this. For me, Sarah Vaughan's version really speaks to me. Gosh, did Ava Cassidy do it? She might have too. Anita O'Day, of course, especially as a vocalist with a sense of playing with time. Anita O'Day is, to me, the ultimate in playing with time. Betty Carter, I don't know if she did this song or not, but she would have a completely different take. You know, Betty Carter, yeah, she'll play with time, but she's also going to manipulate tone in an amazing way. So go find those vocalists. But as an accompanist for yourself, go find vocalists that are comping for themselves and listen to when did they punch, when did they hit, especially if they're solo. Certainly Diana Krall swings her butt off and on the keys as she sings. And so especially, to me, my favorite album of hers is the tribute to Nat King Cole. She is just so badass when she does that. So listening to how she comps for herself, especially finding people comping for themselves that don't have the luxury of a rhythm section behind them. Listen to where they choose to keep 4/4 time. Listen to where they choose to accent and do other hits. If you can't find soloists doing this, then go and listen to bands doing it and hone in on the drummer. What is the drummer doing? When is he keeping a steady shuffle groove? When is he hitting and providing hits and accents? Listen to the bass player. When are they anticipating? When are they staying straight, walking 4/4? Definitely listen to pianists comping. And so listen, go listen. And then try to do something that is yours, which means imitate. Imitate badly, but make those attempts. Eventually, your voice and what you have to say rhythmically and melodically is going to come out in all of that. But my first teachers were my record collection. And that's exactly where you need to go. So thank you. I'm going to say, because I'm putting this up on YouTube, hit that like button, right? And patreon.com/Lisa Markley. I will be adding requested videos on there for more in-depth approaches to singing and playing. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.